friends and family. Welcome to Marcie Creates. This is Marcie, and I have a Tuesday tutorial for you, Tutorial Tuesday, with the newest Bargain Bead Box Romance. Gorgeous, gorgeous beads. I know you've seen some unboxings. I have one I'll be probably publishing later, but just for some quick eye candy, we have all these beautiful antique bronze finishes, roses, beautiful carved beads, and then we have this very stunning focal piece, which today my tutorial is going to be about how to embellish a focal piece, because there are several things that you can do to these to make it your own. And I have seen a lot of really beautiful jewelry already using this piece. I just love it. And using it plain is really, it's just so ornate and beautiful. You don't need to really do anything to it, but I like to be extra sometimes. So I'm going to be a little extra with a few things that I'm doing. One of the things that I did do ahead of time, obviously you can put a lot of dangles here. So I went ahead and made some with these gorgeous, gorgeous beads that came in the mix. And I just changed up a few to put in the centers. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So basically I just made a little assembly line with my beads that I wanted to make the drops with, and then I cut some chain, some of this Rolo chain, so that we can hang our drops. So I've got that pile over here. And then now what I'm doing is I am going to embellish this guy a little bit. And there's a couple things you can do here, as I said. I am going to be, as you can see, I've already started. I am adding some of these beads to the component with some 24 gauge wire. And I did not have wire that matched exactly, but don't let that stop you. This wire is 24 gauge wire in a hematite color. But it works. This is an antique finished piece, and I think it blends fine. So what I've done so far is I did 3 little wire wraps around this component here, and I have brought the wire to the back. And now what I'm doing is I am adding these really pretty tiny beads. My thought was to just have a layer of them right here. So I'm going to finish up that, and then, not to be outdone, I have some little tiny crystals that I've purchased. I think I got these on Amazon. If I find the code, I will put it in my description box. They come in all different colors. They come in their handy little packet in different colors, and I like to use them when you get a piece like this. You see how there's the little round indentations here? They're just begging for a crystal. And then I thought a little square bead would be cute. So I have this little tiny square bead here that I'm going to glue in. So that's kind of where I am going with this. And I just started playing with it. That's what I do. And that's what I suggest you do as well. You can also patina paint this. I don't have any patina paints, but that would be a really fun thing to do as well. So I'm just going to continue on. So I've got this wire here, and I've started doing just a pattern of these really tiny, pretty crystals. And I loved these purple crystal beads. I just thought they were so pretty. And I am just basically doing a little conga line on my piece here. So one nice thing about the wire is you can kind of thread like a needle, or you can pick the things up. I'm gonna probably do the needle threading. So if you do it this way, it takes a little longer. So I am going to have to cover this just a bit with my hand while I string these on. And I am not going to make you suffer through watching me string all of these on. So I am going to go ahead and string the rest of these on, and then I will be right back to show you how I secure the piece. So I will see you in just a moment. Okay, so I've added my beads, and as you can see, I've got them right up to the edge of my component where I want them. And now comes the tricky part. So I'm just basically pressing this down with my thumb just to kind of mold the wire a little bit before I start wrapping. And then I'm going to take this piece. Let's see, let me hold it this way. And I'm going to loop it through that loop. And I'm just basically going to wire wrap this very carefully. And if you need to make it a little bit tighter, use some flat nose. If you have some dipped in Tool Magic, even better. But I don't have any Tool Magic, so I'm just gently pulling that so it's tight. And I may have to come in and reinforce. I've not done this yet. This is an experiment that you're witnessing, so I may have to come back and do a little reinforcing. But that's not a big deal, because I think the wire will blend in enough that it really won't detract from what I'm doing. So I think on that side I did 3 wraps. I think I'll do 3 on this. And the reason I'm not doing more is just so that whatever I'm going to hang from here has plenty of room. I don't want it to run out of room. Okay. So now we have our wire, and that looks really pretty. I like that. See how they're sliding though? So that's what I mean by reinforce. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to snip. Here comes the experimentation. I'm going to snip inside here so that no one gets any sharp pieces. Okay. And I'll come back in and tuck those in a second. But I thought I could take another piece of wire and just do a wrap really tightly right where those beads are so they don't slide anywhere. So let's see how that works. I think I'm going to get a fresh piece, actually. As I've said before, always use more wire than you think you're going to need. And what's nice about this piece, this center piece, this focal piece, I think I'll cut one more for the other side, is that it's not finished on the back, and it actually has some hollow spaces. I'll turn it around so you can see. So we've got plenty of room for our wire to kind of be tucked in on itself. I'm not measuring this exactly. I just want enough to wire wrap this. So we want to anchor these beads so they don't slide. And so we're going to have to put a little wire here and a little wire here. And we have these long, the straight edge is kind of what I was thinking of lining up against. So I'm going to take this wire, I'm going to notch it next to that bead, and I'm going to go around like this. And I don't mind if it's showing, like I said. I want it to be a little bit neat though. So I think we'll go around a few times. Tighten it. Now here's what we have on the back. And like I said, see how this has got, you have room now that you can go in here and make this more secure. Yeah, that should work good. You just want to get that wire wrapped around a couple of times, just so it doesn't go anywhere. And it's nice that this has this little channel back here, because it really does help. If it were flat, we'd have a lot of trouble anchoring all of this. I think I'll do one more. No one's going to see this other side. Now, that being said, for myself, I'm okay with this, the wire not being perfect back here. If you wanted to sell this piece and really have it look professional, then what you could do after you do all this wire work is custom cut a piece of leather or suede, and you can glue it to the back so no one sees any of your wires. But I'm just gonna snip these for now. We will tuck them in later. But I love that this channel is here. It really does help. So now this bead's not going anywhere. See? So we're gonna do that to the other side. So again, we're gonna take our wire and we're gonna line up right where that line is in the component. So it's not going to be too noticeable, your actual wire. Let me see if I can. Boy, that other side was easier. Be patient. I always have to tell myself that. Be patient. Be patient, grasshopper. All right. So now we'll come to the back and we will wire wrap this. But do play with your components. Everyone's getting the same one, and I love to see when someone does something different. Not that this component is not gorgeous by itself. If you like it the way it is, more power to you. I'm just trying to show you some out-of-the-box thoughts. But I've always been a fan of Bargain Bead Box, and I love that they give you these really fancy components to play with. And even if you just straight up string it, you're going to have a gorgeous piece. Now that piece is a little small, so I may have to get in there with these. Here's where your tools are helpful. They go where your fingers won't. All right. So I will snip and snip. Now let's see. Yeah. And you can come back and tighten these up. I could have added more beads here too, if I wanted. That's totally up to you. I think I'm just going to leave them the way that they are, but that turned out very nice. And they're not going to slide anywhere. So now I am going to work on these dangles. The gluing pieces I'll do last, because of course you're going to need to let it set, and you don't want glue all over you while you're trying to put your dangles on. So for the dangles, I went ahead and made, my thought was to do the same on the outside, kind of echoing what I've done here, and then do one with these long crystal, I guess rectangular beads is what you would call them, like that. So I've already cut some pieces, and this is where I may have to play around with some lengths. And so I'm going to attach these with jump rings. These were the smallest jump rings I could find. I would have liked to have used some smaller ones, but I would rather it be secure and have a little bit bigger jump ring. And then I'm going to attach the wire, and then I'm going to wire wrap these on the end. So I think what I might do is go ahead and wire wrap first. So I'm just going to take my bring in my round nose here. And these are just 3-inch head pins. And I'm gonna just wire wrap this. And of course, we want to put our chain on. Again, I don't mind if the metals are different. That doesn't bother me. If that bothers you, make sure everything, you can make sure everything matches. But I think at the end of the day, it's not going to matter. And I'm doing a messy wrap, like I like. Oops, need nippers. And I'm going to add this one. I want to see where this lands on here before I do all the rest of them. I may not want that length. You have to take into account your jump ring as well. If you're using a larger jump ring, it's going to hang lower. So let me open up this jump ring and attach this and see kind of where it lays. These focal pieces are so fun to play with. I get giddy when I see one. Like, yay, something to play with. All right, let's see. think I like that length. And if you make them all the same length, of course, they're going to hang lower, which I wanted. I didn't want them all even. If you want them all even, you would have to make smaller chain and smaller chain. Just keep that in mind. So let's add another one. I think we'll do one side and then I'll do the other side. Grab our chain. And this chain came with the Bargain Bead Box. And I could always use more chain, that is for sure. I use a lot of chain too. I like using chain. Okay. And we're gonna cut this. Put this guy in the center. Sometimes I don't open these up enough. There we go, that should do it. Oops. And some of these, see that? They're magnetic, so that's helpful sometimes and sometimes not. So if you have tools that are magnetic, give your metal pieces a wide berth. You're going to be picking up all kinds of things along with what it is you're working on. Okay. So that's fun. I like that. And the centerpiece I did on a shorter head pin, but I don't think it's going to matter because the chain is going to be the same length. We're going to see here in just a minute. And here's where the adjusting happens. If you decide that you don't like the way that that's hanging, you know, you can add more chain or take some chain away. That's designer's choice, of course. It's your piece. You got to make it how you want it. These are a little bit smaller head pins too or shorter ones than I had with the others. Okay. Oops. Delicate work. Give yourself grace. Okay. I may cut that little piece off. That was a little shorter, so I couldn't quite do the messy wraps like I like on those. But that's all right. Let's see, we're going to attach him. Let me make sure I open this one up enough. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. There we go. I like it. Now down here, these are all level. So they're going to hang. If you want like this one to be longer, which I think I do, I will probably use a little bit longer, a couple links longer for that middle one. So right, pardon me. For this next group, I'm going to go off camera and just add these. And then probably these as well. And then we'll glue our pieces on. As you can see, I have everything attached now. And I really like the way that looks. I really like how this picks up all these pieces down here. And so now what I thought I would do is glue in the other items. I'm going to move this over a little bit. And I have here a little square bead and a couple of red rhinestones. I thought the red would be a nice pop of color. Of course, you could do any color you want. That one guy doesn't want to cooperate. But we'll make it work. So I'm going to use some E6000 and a head pin. And I think I'm going to squirt some out. And put a little dab right in that square piece. This seems like it's a little bit old, this glue, but I think it'll work. We'll come in with our let me move that. Do I need to move in a little? Probably. Scooch. Scooch. Okay. We'll put this guy in here. It's like that game Operation. Only no buzzer. I better not laugh while I'm doing this. Smish. That'll dry clear too, by the way. I like that. So this gives you an opportunity. I'll put some silver in there. If I wanted to, when I do the beaded part of the chain, or whatever it is I'm going to do, I've just introduced another metal color. So I can play with that silver now and add color. Add another color metal if I want. Now let's see. This is gonna be interesting. Because these are really tiny, these rhinestones. Let's see if I can get more liquid glue coming out of here. It's like doing a little operation, isn't it? You don't need much. This stuff pretty strong. And I don't want a bunch oozing out. I wouldn't say I'm the most expert gluer, if that's a word. But again, as with everything else, take your time. Oh, a little off in the dismount there. Everybody hold your breath. I gotta stop laughing. Why am I laughing? Don't laugh when you're doing intricate things, Marcie. like being in a library and you're not supposed to laugh. Okay. Let me get a hold of myself. I knew I was going to get the giggles. Okay, I'm using different ones. I think these might actually be better. They're narrower. Oh yeah, that's good. No, why did you turn upside down? Oh, frustrating. If you have tweezers, now would be a good time to use them. I thought I had some, but I can't find them. Of course, if you could see the state of my bead room, you would understand why. It's a little chaotic in here right now. Okay. Wow, that looks really pretty. I like that. Let's see if I can finagle this one onto the piece without a bunch of hee-hawing. If you take too long, the glue's going to dry. Ay, ay, ay. I wonder, now this gives me a glimpse of people that set stones. Can you imagine that painstaking? I mean, I like making jewelry, but I don't know. I don't know that I have the patience for that. And then, of course, there's the people that cut the stones. That's amazing. Okay, I don't want to mess too much more with that. But I think this turned out rather nice. Let me spin it around. Now, I do have some ends back here. I'm going to snip those, closer. And like I said, if you were to sell this or give it as a gift, I would line the back of that piece. You could take the same E6000 and just cut a piece of leather or suede and glue it so that none of the wires poke anybody. But that turned out rather nifty. Nifty. So just some different options to consider when you are embellishing one of these pieces that you get from Bargain Bead Box. And we always get components like this. And you can just, play with them. Again, like I said, you could do patina paints. You can do different treatments on your drops. You could do tassels. You could do different gemstones. You could put a gemstone in there if you wanted even. So, I mean, it's up to you. Sky's the limit. I just wanted to see what I could do to add a little more color to the piece and show you what's possible. And I think it turned out pretty neat. And I will have to show you the finished piece once I make the beaded portion. But I do like for my tutorials to be short and sweet so that you're not falling asleep in the middle of them. But next Tuesday, I will come in with I will show you the finished piece. I'll probably just do a stringing technique, or I may just continue with the chain and do some little stations like I've done down here to pick up those colors. So I have to think about that. I have to ruminate. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching today, this Tutorial Tuesday. And I appreciate everybody who has subscribed. If you haven't, I would love to have you. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends. Got Tuesday tutorials and BB Craft Sundays. I've been a little off the mark the last couple of weeks due to some health things, but I think I am on the mend, so good news there. I just adore all of you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video.